All right, it's showtime. Hey, get ready. We're going to have another great one today. So, welcome back to the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast. Hey, it's the only channel giving you the whole truth and nothing but the truth about Costa Rica. And today, hey, will Pura Vida Madness get a hold of you? Hey, I know it got a hold of me a long time ago, but what are three things you can do every day? What are the three things you really should do so that you can enjoy your slice of paradise in Costa Rica? Matter of fact, these three things that we're going to be talking about, hey, are three things that you should be doing, three things you should be doing no matter where you live at, okay? So I think it's going to find this today is going to be very interesting. But hey, before we get started, if this is your first time here, who is that crazy guy? Well, I'm Alan. Been living in Costa Rica since November 2013. Lived little over 11 years. Lived all over the place, 25 different houses, locations, and then traveled all over Costa Rica, just trying to find my slice of paradise, okay? So, I've got the experience, and I can share with you probably anything you're asking. Now, if I don't know it, won't make it up. But we'll definitely try to figure out the answer that you're looking for. Matter of fact, I had a subscriber do a phone consultation last week, and she's just terribly aggravated because she's really trying to build this nice house. She's already been through 5 contractors, and that's part of being in Costa Rica. And while other people, try to downsize it. Well, it's not. It's one of the huge headaches. There's lots of things. But anyway, matter of fact, I actually sent her an email. But yeah, email is so unreliable. I hope she contacts me back. But anyway, if you happen to be on the call, Laura, I'd like for you to hit me up because I found out some good information for you. I think it'll help you in having a good contractor. But anyway, hey, let's get started. I hope all you guys had a great weekend last weekend. It was Resurrection Sunday, Easter, or whatever you want to call it. But you know what? It was Holy Week where lots of people are in and out just having a great time. So, hey, I want to welcome everybody here. There's Randy, Eduardo, Ed. Hey, Pamela Teal. Hey, I'm so glad that you're here with us, Pam. We're going to have a good time today and lots of others. But let me ask you, okay? Hey, do me a favor. The greatest way you can support this channel is just to drop off $1 million. Now, I do everything free. But if you want to support the channel, make sure you take a second right now. Go down, hit that like button. It's free. I'm giving you free. You give me free. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hey, be engaging. Put lots of comments, lots of chats, and that way, we'll be answering your questions. We're going to do our best to answer your questions once we cover the issue of what we're talking about today. Okay, so let's get started. All right. Number one, if you are brand new or if you've been hiding under a rock, maybe you don't know what Pura Vida is. So let's talk about Pura Vida for a second before we talk about how Pura Vida Madness can just overcome you and drive you absolutely nuts, okay? So, Pura Vida, I'll tell you straight up, I hate the word, okay? Now, in actuality, I really love Pura Vida, the true essence of it. Pura Vida means pure life. And Costa Rica forever has adopted it as their slogan, but it has become used and abused far too much, in my opinion. If you don't know a lick of Spanish, all you got to do is just answer Pura Vida. If someone, Pura Vida, man, Pura Vida. Just say Pura Vida, and they'll keep on talking. So Pura Vida, if someone parks behind you and blocks you in, and you're like, dude, you're blocking me in. Pura Vida. It's Pura Vida everything. And it drives me absolutely insane because it's just used and abused, and it's just an excuse to be a worthless, no good piece of crap, okay? To simply not care about the other person. Guy's supposed to come and says he's going to be here tomorrow, going to be here at 9 o'clock. He shows up at 12. Hey, thought you showed up at 9. I've been waiting all morning. Pura Vida. No, no, no. That's not the answer I want, okay? And that, for my personality, Pura Vida don't cut it, okay? You show up at 12 o'clock and you're supposed to be at 9, I'm sending you out. Dude, you couldn't be here at 9? I'll give you one more chance, but you ain't doing it today. When you coming back, and you better be here at the time you say. But the important thing is you're not going to change the culture. And so don't even think about that, okay? So Pura Vida is one of those things that you're going to have to learn to understand and accept. But it doesn't mean you have to become Pura Vida. I'm the kind of guy, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If I say I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be there 15 minutes early, or I'm late, okay? But that's me. And so I didn't come to Costa Rica to become Pura Vida. I didn't come to Costa Rica because I need Pura Vida in my life. I came to Costa Rica because I enjoy the environment, the beauty. So there's a lot of things that I don't like about Costa Rica. And I'm sure there's a lot of things you don't like. But there's far, far more things I love about Costa Rica and prefer over living in the concrete jungle of the United States, okay? So understand that Pura Vida simply means pure life, and if that's what Costa Rica was about, I would be Pura Vida all the way. But it has become an excuse, and it's a slogan for everything. So anyway, that's Pura Vida. Now, if you're anything like me, and there's a lot of people that come to Costa Rica, admittedly, they say they need more Pura Vida in their life. And what they really mean is they need to slow down. And if you need to slow down, Costa Rica is a great, great place for it, okay? And everybody's going to be late. Nobody's on time. When I say nobody, obviously, come on, there's a rare exception, I've got a contractor. That dude shows up on time, okay? Does a great job, okay? So, it's not everybody. Some people hate it when you say, you can't say everybody. Grow up. Anyway, so the deal is Pura Vida can drive you absolutely nuts. So let's talk about what are 3 things that you can do to really enjoy life in Costa Rica so that maybe some of the Costa Rica madness doesn't drive you crazy, okay? and this is something that you can do anywhere. So we're going to be actually talking about your physical well-being, your physical health, your mental health. So let me back up just a little bit. Everybody, whether you believe it or not, we are 3-part beings, okay? So we are mind, body, and soul, okay? So what does that mean? Okay, well, obviously we got a body, okay, and we got to take care of it. We've got a mind, okay, and we need to use that intelligence, and we got to exercise that as well. But we have a soul. Now, whether you believe in God or not, or you're a Buddhist or Muslim, it doesn't matter. But a third part of you is spiritual, okay? So in order for you to really enjoy life to its fullest, okay, then you need to have all 3 of those things in balance. You need to exercise all 3 of those things, okay? So let me first just talk about the physical aspect, okay? In most cases, and before I go there, in most cases, while we have those 3 parts of our as human beings, most people will usually be way out of balance in one and neglect the other 2, or maybe they're taking care of 2 and neglecting 1. For example, let's talk about maybe bodybuilders or personal trainers. Man, they taking care of that body. Yeah, man, they tough, but they completely are not using their mind, and maybe they're physically strong and maybe they're spiritually strong. Maybe they have a strong belief in God or whatever. And when I say a spiritual belief, hey, you could be worshiping Satan. That's still a spiritual belief, okay? Because there's a lot of spiritual things out there. Doesn't mean it's good, but hey, if that's what you like to do, I believe you got one life to live, and as long as you don't bother anybody else, well, enjoy your demonic life, okay? For me, me and God are like this. We're tight. God calls me up and asks me for my advice. No, no. But me and God are tight. But the spiritual aspect of your life, and this is a good time to talk about it. Last week was Holy Week. Costa Rica is a very Catholic country. The majority or the biggest religion in Costa Rica is Catholicism. Okay. Does that mean there's a ton of people going to church? No, it's kind of like anywhere. I grew up in South Louisiana where you're born Catholic, okay? And South Louisiana is very Catholic. Well, Costa Rica is that same way. They're born Catholic. They're told they're Catholic. They die Catholic. And they may never even step foot in the church, okay? So I forget where I was going with that. Oh, well, we were talking about Holy Week. So last week, I saw tons and tons of people that were off. And it's like anywhere in the world, people that never go to church might go to church on Holy Week. They might go to church on Easter. They might go to church on Christmas. But these are the type of people where they're three-part beings, but they're neglecting that spiritual aspect, okay? So if you want to be extremely healthy, you need to be balanced in all of those, and you're going to find out that your life is completely fulfilled. So number one, as we talk about the physical aspect of it, we can all understand that, hey, if you want to be physically healthy, you need to always exercise and you need to always eat right. Well, Costa Rica is a great place to do that. And lots of people that come to Costa Rica who find themselves overweight or, not eating healthy in the United States, because in the United States, it's so easy to get all kind of junk. It's easy. Well, and it's easy to get junk in Costa Rica. But when you come to Costa Rica and you're kind of slowing their life down, well, a lot of people begin to actually lose weight. They begin to do more things. They begin to walk the beach. They begin to hike some trails. They begin to connect with nature. And so as they're doing more things to take care of their physical body. And that is awesome. So a lot of people come to Costa Rica without even trying physically start getting healthier and better. A lot of people, hey, myself included, I love to connect with nature. I'm not actually connecting with nature. I am and I'm not. I'm actually connecting with God. So I love to be walking in the woods. I love to see all of God's creation. Or if you'd rather call it Mother Nature's creation, I love to see Mother Nature. I love to see the amazing trees, the forest, the waterfalls, the mountains. And now I'm actually taking care of the spiritual aspect of your life. So we talked about physical. Well, let's talk about the spiritual. Taking care of your spiritual. And regardless of whether you just like to sit and meditate, hey, it really doesn't matter to me whether you're a believer or not. It does, but regardless of what you believe in, it's your life. And so I'm not here to Bible thump you or tell you you're going to die and go to hell if you don't go to church. We're all going to die and go to one or two places, whether you believe it or not. So I advise you take care of that spiritual side of you. And so there in Costa Rica, it's easy to do that as well. Why? Well, a lot of people are connecting into that spiritual aspect of their life through yoga. Okay. A lot of people go to different places, eco retreats, go to different places where they can really get into nature and they can just meditate. It doesn't matter what you believe in as long as you are, it does, but I'm not here to judge. Whatever you believe in, if you like to go out there to the greatest, humongous waterfall or biggest tree, and you like to sit in front of it and meditate, hey, as long as you are working on meditating, working on that soul, okay? Because we all have a soul, and it's going to go somewhere, but it's best to, and when you're meditating, you're able to connect with a deeper level of yourself. And we're not talking about the physical level. We're talking about a spiritual level. And so you got to take care of that body. Eating right, exercise, being healthy. Take care of that spiritual aspect, okay? Well, let's talk about the third aspect, which is mental. Your mind, body, and soul. Well, you got to take care of that mind. And hey, now I'm not a doctor. This is totally my opinion based on some experiences with people, family, in my own life. You know, a lot of people, as they get old, well, they start losing it up here, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's. I probably pronounced that wrong. But, you know, a lot of people, they start degrading, falling apart. And in my opinion, that's because they're not exercising their mind. Well, how can you exercise your mind, Alan? Well, that's pretty simple, okay? You need to keep your mind active. Hey, you can do lots of things like find games that are challenging, playing chess, always doing like crossword puzzles, doing things where you're constantly thinking and using your mind. You know, in the United States, we've gotten to the point that, hey, I want to know if you've done this. In the United States, I remember going to a particular job, okay, and I was there for so long that I would get up, drive an hour, all of a sudden I arrive at the job and I'm like, dude, I don't even remember getting here. It was so autopilot, okay, that it's like I didn't even use my mind. I was like, dude, I mean, I don't even remember passing cars. I don't, so it's that kind of thing that, you know, in the United States, we get so used to doing the exact same repetition day in and day out that we're not using your mind. Well, guess what? When you move to Costa Rica, it's a great way to exercise your mind. Why? Well, there's all kind of new things that you're learning. Hey, number one, your mind's going to be challenged when it comes to communication. Because if you don't know Spanish, you're going to be like, all of a sudden, you're using pantomime to ask, where's the bathroom? Okay. Or hey, true story, man. I was like, where's the bathroom? I didn't know how to say baño. Anyway, you know, when you move to Costa Rica, there's lots of new things, lots of interesting things. And all of a sudden, you're using your mind. So you're going to find out that, hey, and I'm not saying you should go to Costa Rica, but hey, today I'm pointing out a lot of positives about Costa Rica that I enjoy. Lots of things that I do on a daily basis. I know I talk about a lot of the cons, and that's because, hey, most channels tell you all of the good stuff. That's what they want you to hear, but they're not telling you the bad stuff. So I do focus on a lot of the raw stuff about Costa Rica. But today I'm talking about mind, body, and soul, and three things that when you do come to Costa Rica, you automatically begin using those things, but don't get into a routine that all of a sudden you stop using them. You need to continue to challenge your mind. You know, out here on the homestead, I'm always challenging my mind. It's like, okay, how am I going to do that? You know, this week, matter of fact, you know, I told you guys I had one place left that I got to burn off that I'm putting in a garden. Well, I burned that off. And of course, in the process of burning off, I'm always thinking, okay, how am I going to burn that? Keep it safe so that I don't have a wildfire. Okay, now that I got it burned off, I got this cleared. Okay, well, now I'm getting ready to put in the garden, but I'm going to put in a garden house. How am I going to do that? Well, you know what? I want to do aquaponics, you know. Okay, so how can I build a trench, a pool that I'm going to put fish in so that those fish are fertilized in the garden? My mind is always thinking. And of course, hey, I like to go to my favorite place to do research, which is YouTube. Because you have a lot of experts out there that are giving their advice. So, you know, hey, use your mind. I mean, let's take a look at Randy. Randy's like, hey, his current career is all mental. So, hey, I know what Randy does. So he's constantly using his mind. So if you've got one of those careers where you're constantly using your mind, hey, maybe you're coding, maybe you're building websites, that's great stuff. You're constantly using your mind, but you also want to challenge yourself in other avenues. But if you're like Randy and you've got a career where it's all mental, don't forget the spiritual. Don't forget the physical aspect of your life. Even if you are challenged physically, you know, I've had clients because, hey, you know, for those that know, I'm a certified personal trainer and I've trained lots of people. And so it really doesn't matter. You know, I've had clients that had disabilities. And look, if you're disabled in some aspect, let's say if you're in a wheelchair, hey, you can continue to train your upper body. Here's what's amazing. When you train those three parts of your life, and to me, okay, the most important part is physical. Now, obviously, that's for today. Spiritual is the most important part because that's going to make a deciding factor on eternity. But I'm talking about today, right now. What can I do to make my life better right now? Well, the quickest way to make your life better in all three areas of your life is by beginning to actually start exercising. Exercise and eat right. When you exercise, all of a sudden you start getting a mental clarity. You get more energy. You start feeling good. Now, the first couple of weeks, you're so sore, you're cussing me for telling you to start exercising, okay? But I would tell my clients, look, make me a promise. You won't quit in the first 2 to 3 weeks. After 2 or 3 weeks, if you want to quit, you can. But the first 2 or 3 weeks is going to be your toughest because your body is sore. Just don't overdo it. Gradually work your way into it. So the quickest and fastest way that you can begin connecting with your mind, body, and soul is actually to start physically. Start working yourself physically because you get clarity in your mind. You start feeling good. You get energy. All of a sudden, as your mind is getting a workout because you're learning all of this new stuff and you've got all this great energy, and then you begin to see things. And so it just really begins to help you physically, mentally, and spiritually. You begin to feel better, and it really makes a humongous difference. I like what Randy said. He says, spiritual, mental, physical faith, and will is why he's walking today. And that's amazing because, Randy has shared that he has challenges with mobility. But I tell you what, it does make a huge difference. And I agree with you, Randy. Check out Vile Money says nothing better than exercise first thing in the morning. And look, I couldn't agree with you more. As a personal trainer, people would ask, what's the best time to exercise? I always told them, exercise first thing in the morning. Oh, I hate it. Well, get up in the morning, get you a piece of toast so that you can get your metabolism kicking, get you a health shake, head to the gym, work out. Because if you do it first thing in the morning, that's when you got the most energy, the most focus. Because what happens is you're like, oh, I'm going to do it at lunchtime. I'm going to do it at 2 o'clock. Before you know it, at lunchtime, 2 o'clock's done going by, and you're like, oh, crap, I didn't finish what I got to do. And before you know it, you're like, nah, I'll wait till tomorrow. And how many of you know Manana never shows up? Tomorrow never comes. So I agree with you, Vile Money. Nothing better than exercising first thing in the morning. So, folks, give me your input. Mind, body, and soul. Hey, give me some input. What do you do to exercise your mind? What do you do to exercise your body? Okay. Randy says he's up at 4 a.m. Hey, I typically get up almost every day about 4 a.m., 4:30. And hey, man, I'm on it at 5 o'clock doing what I got to do. And if I got a project that I'm working on, I'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning so I can have an extra hour, so I can knock it out. But I know it's going to be a temporary thing, and I'll get it done, and then I'll go back to getting up at 4:30. But getting up early is really a great way to get things rocking and rolling, to get things started. A lot of people say, I just don't have time to exercise. No, you're making an excuse. You got time to exercise. It's just a matter of whether you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of sleep, sacrifice those 3 hours of movies and soap operas you watch every night, okay? Because studies have shown it that the majority of the people easily waste 3, 4, 5 hours a night watching TV. And you ask me, if you watch 3 or 4 hours of TV, it don't help you physically, don't help you mentally, makes your brain dead mentally, and it's definitely not helping you spiritually, unless one of those 3 or 4 hours you're going to church online. So, hey, you really are wasting time if you don't, if you just doing nothing but watching TV. All right. Hey, welcome, Doug. From he says, check out. He says, Canadians, make sure you vote tomorrow for the prime for PP. Hopefully for PP. I don't know who PP is, but I'm voting for him, and I ain't even Canadian. If you say he's good, I'll vote. All right. So, folks, hey, quick, fast, easy. Oh, you know what? While I got your attention, I do have a quick announcement that I need to make. Okay. Now, some of you are probably going to get upset with me. But hey, look, mind, body, and soul. I'm going to be super busy with mind, body, and soul. You know, a lot of people call it self-love. I'm not too crazy about self-love. I like love with someone else. But hey, whatever you want to call it, mind, body, and soul for the next 5 to 6 weeks, I am going MIA. That's right. I'm going to be missing in action. I'm going to be on a search and rescue mission. Who am I rescuing? Me. I'm actually going to be doing a lot of research and finding out some stuff that I need because I really got to upgrade my system. And so I'm upgrading my solar system to hydro and solar. So I got the big battery system, but now I got to go get the inverter. I got to go get the hydro unit. And I'm going to be doing some other stuff. But I ain't telling you that. That ain't none of your business. So anyway, I'm going to be out having a good time for the next 5 to 6 weeks. And when I'm coming back, I really don't know. Time will tell. But since I am going to be traveling, I'm not going to be toting my computer around. I don't have a laptop anymore. I used to, but it seems like I would wear those things out, man. They just die on me in a hurry. All right. So, hey, folks, give me your input. Give me your thoughts. Hey, if you don't have any input, thoughts on mind, body, and soul, give me your other questions. Like Pam, who says, safe travels. Well, thank you, Pam. You know, matter of fact, I was going to talk to you, Pam, and let you kind of take over for the next 5 or 6 weeks. I need somebody to keep these lives going. So, are you game, Pam? I mean, you and Tom make a good TV crew, man. Good YouTube crew. So how about it, Pam? I'm gonna check all these other people right here. Matter of fact, they're already voting for you. Hey, you know, Eduardo, he says, it's just my wife and I and our dog Larry and our cow milk, okay? Growing vegetables, eggs, and we're sick of letting people get in our way. You know the story. Hey, you know, Eduardo has shared quite a bit with me. And, hey, you know what? You do have to be careful when you come to Costa Rica. It's unfortunate, but if you're not careful, you will get taken advantage of. If you're too kind, you're going to get taken advantage of. So, hey, there's nothing wrong with being kind. It's nothing wrong with being nice, but you better check up and you better check behind whoever you're being kind to because they will take advantage of you. Hey, Pam says she got it. She got it, homie. She is on it. Her and Thomas next week. She says, no, homie. No, homie. I'm just kidding. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't fill them shoes. I can't fill them shoes. You too good, Alan. I can't fill them shoes. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Pam. I can't even hardly fill my own shoes. Pam says, I ain't technologically advanced, man. She can't even type. I know what you mean, Pam. I know. So, hey. So, if you don't have any input on mind, body, and soul, maybe you got questions about life in Costa Rica. Give me your input. Give me your thoughts. You know, here we are. Right now, it's beginning to rain. Now, normally, it doesn't always, usually rain. So, hey, look, here's what I'm trying to say, and I'm fumbling. Rainy season has begun. I believe winter is here. So this week it has rained every single day, and that's very unusual. Normally, rainy season doesn't start at the end of April. It begins to transition and begins to rain a little bit here and a little bit there, but we've gotten a little bit more rain than usual. And usually rainy season really kind of gets full force around middle of May, toward the end of May. But hey, it looks like rainy season is kicking already. It has been raining every single day. But, you know, we've had a very strange year where we really didn't have a summer. You know, I think we went 2 weeks where we didn't have any rain, and it's usually like 5 or 6 months with no rain. But we just really had a weird summer. Didn't have a summer at all, really. But anyway, I don't mind, except it wasn't good for my solar system. But hey, it is beginning to rain. So if you're thinking about coming to Costa Rica, hey, just be prepared. Rainy season is not a bad time of the year. It actually kind of cools things down. And normally, typically it's sunny in the mornings and it doesn't start raining to the afternoons. But it sure has been strange lately where I've gotten up and it was cloudy first thing in the morning and started raining at 9 or 10 o'clock. Very unusual. But hey, life does change. If there's one thing that is consistent, change is consistent. And that's always the case for Costa Rica. There's always something changing. All right. Okay, well, hey, folks, I'm not seeing anything coming on, and we may just have to call it an early one. Now, Val Money says he likes to go to Arenal. Arenal looks like a fantasy in the rainy season. You know what? There is a lot of places that are like that. Of course, like where I'm at is pretty amazing. In my opinion, I haven't found a place any better than where I'm at, but I am very deep in the jungle. And Val says it's lush greens. Well, you know, if you go down towards San Vito, Sabalito, well, anywhere south of Dominical, it gets to be very lush. It's very green in the area, okay? Now, R&B says, does summer fall on different months there? Yes. Because here in the United States, what is it, April? It's just now getting to be springtime in the United States, and summer's going to start. Well, winter, and I don't know why they call it summer and winter, because there's no such thing as summer and winter. It's really dry season and rainy season. So the rainy season is just called winter, even though really the temperature doesn't really change much, okay? But winter time normally starts in May, and for most of Costa Rica is going to last you 6 months, okay? So that's May, June, July, August, September, October. Now, October is usually when it's raining the hardest, and normally it starts transitioning. So November, it might rain some, but it usually transitions in November. But usually the dry season begins November, December, okay? So usually, I always like to say that, hey, in November, that's the dry season, that's summer, even though you may get some rain. So November, December, January, February, March, April, and that's going to be your summer. Come around May, which is where we're at now, start your winter. So that's typically what happens and where summer and winter fall. So I hope I answered that question, R&B. It is very different. You know, it's extreme opposite on the total opposite flip side of the United States. Now, Eduardo absolutely loves the Saprissa football team. That's his favorite. He's probably crying right now because they're losing. That's Eduardo's favorite thing, is to watch the Saprissa soccer team. Ask Eduardo about it. He loves them. And, you know, hey, let's talk about sports. You know, in Costa Rica, how many sports are there? Does anybody know? What is the most dominant sport in Costa Rica? It's Island's apple juice. I can tell you that much. If you don't know, but you know, in the United States, everyone loves football, and you got soccer, and you got baseball, and you got basketball, and you name it, Costa Rica's got it. Hockey, everything in the world. Well, Costa Rica has one sport, and that's, you know, we call it soccer, but they call it football. So the real football is, you know, kicking this round ball. And so And you know what? I used to think, why is it that Costa Rica only has one sport? Well, the majority of Costa Ricans are poor. And since they're poor, all you got to do is buy a soccer ball and you got a game. So, you know what? You don't have to have special uniform. You don't have to have special shoes. You don't have to have equipment. All you got to do is have a ball. And so, you know what? You put up a ball and a couple of sticks. Guess what? For a goal, and you can play soccer. So you got a lot of, there's almost a soccer field or a football field in every community in Costa Rica. Now, Evelina has a good question. It says, hey, Alan, if you put metal siding on your house, wouldn't that make it even hotter in an already hot country? No. In actuality, having that metal siding, while it is hot on the outside, if you're in a hot part of the country, you're definitely going to use insulation, okay? And so if you have insulation, it's going to be no different. Now, obviously, that metal does get hotter than if you had wood, but then if you had wood, you're going to be dealing with termites, okay? And in concrete is obviously very cool because cinder blocks, you have that air channel that's in between. So, hey, no, you won't have any problems with metal siding. Excuse me. If you have metal siding and you're in a hot part of the country, just make sure that you put in insulation. So, all right, what else we got going on? Now, you know what? I don't know if you guys can hear the rain. So, of course, I'm not done with my tiny house, far from it. But, the rain makes a lot of noise, okay? So with all this noise, I'm going to actually be putting up some, because I don't know when I'm going to have time to put the ceiling in. I'm going to actually go get some of that zacate grass or fake grass, some people just call it turf, indoor, outdoor turf. And I'm going to put that on my roof just so that it will absorb the rain. The rain will still go off, but this way it won't be loud, okay? So that's something that you can do real quick. It's not very expensive, and hey, you can leave it up there, okay? It wouldn't hurt to leave it up there. And of course, Evelina says, well, hey, what kind of insulation do you choose? Costa Rica, I think the most popular insulation I've seen, it kind of looks like bubble wrap, and it usually has kind of a silver lining on one side of it, and it has all these tiny bubbles on the other side. And so that's the insulation that I see is most common. You can buy the insulation that is really nothing more than styrofoam, and it's a styrofoam board, and you can put that in there as well. But either one of them will work. Costa Rica doesn't have a lot of choices when it comes to insulation. So when it comes to insulation, you most definitely want to make a trip to San Jose to buy your building materials like insulation. You can go all over the country and you get ready to build. Most of Costa Rica, the hardware store is going to have your basic stuff. But if you're looking for higher end stuff, if you're looking for stuff that is not typical, insulation is not typical in Costa Rica. Now, along the coast, people with money might put in insulation. But even on the coast, most ticos, they're not putting in insulation. They're not putting in insulation. They just have some windows that they're opening up and some fans, okay? So most people in Costa Rica, now, keep in mind when I say most people, as always, I'm never talking about San Jose and the metropolitan area, okay? Those places, San Jose and the metropolitan area, I don't even consider that being Costa Rica. That's just another concrete jungle, okay? So that's a place where they're on their game, okay? And they can really build some nice places. So that kind of brings me back to, this one subscriber who did a phone consultation and was asking because she was really having a hard time. But she's trying to build a really neat house, okay, and really eco-green. So when you're getting ready to build an eco-green house, you're going to run into a lot of challenges. You're always going to have contractors that'll listen to you and say, oh, yeah, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. And we can do it. We can do it. But when it comes time to doing it, they can't do it. Now, if you're in San Jose and you find a contractor in San Jose, you bet you might find someone there that can do it. But it's still going to be a challenge if you're trying to import stuff here That's not the norm. You know, like you can build a house with asphalt shingles. Is it normal? No. And it's going to cost you more because the majority of the houses are built with metal roofing. Okay. So if you want a specialized block, you know, well, you're not going to get those specialized blocks here. You got to import it in. It's going to cost you more. So anytime you get ready to build an eco green or in the United States, we have many, many, many different types of building. If you're trying to get a tiny house like this, if you're trying to build an earth ship, if you're trying to build, there's so many different things that we can build with in the United States. Costa Rica, do you want a concrete house or do you want a concrete house? That's your choices, okay? You can get a concrete block house. You can get a concrete fab house. Most people don't have a solid wood house, okay? You can get a solid wood house, but most people build out of concrete. It's the #1 building material, okay? Now, you can find people that are building with metal, okay? But it's not typical. So, you just have to keep in mind, if you're not going to build typical, it's going to be a challenge, okay? So, and that's where you definitely need to take time, schedule a phone consultation so that maybe I can guide you in the right path, okay? Or, I can talk to you and help you to get a better understanding of what you can expect if you're going to go down that road, all right? Now, Evelina says, hey, we can hear the rain, but it's still just as bright. And is that what it's like during the entire rainy season? Yes. Most of the time during rainy season, typically. Okay, so let's just talk about the typical. I've been all over Costa Rica, and typically the morning times, bright, sunny. You can hang out your clothes and enjoy an awesome day. Come around noon, it's going to start clouding up. Come around 2 o'clock, you can almost you can almost set an alarm clock. It's going to start raining. And it might rain really hard, but it'll be super bright. You can see real well, and if it is a hard torrential rain, it might get dark a little bit. But in most cases, of course, now my house got tons of great big huge windows, as you can see behind me. But hey, typically it's just going to be during the rainy season, it's going to be beautiful out there. It's going to be a little darker, but not much. But yeah, typically the entire rainy season is kind of like that, Evelina. So I'm just kind of cruising through here. Now, Evelina asked a pretty good question. Says, is there a particular AC unit that you prefer there? Yes, and because she said, yeah, there's limited. You're really only going to get about one kind of AC unit. Now, there are some places where you can go get, what you're used to in the United States, where they have this box AC unit you normally would stick in a window. But the majority of the AC units I've seen are these what I would call individual room AC units, and it's an AC unit that goes on the wall up there, and there's an AC unit on the outside. In the United States, we're used to having this humongous AC unit, and it's ductwork that goes all through the attic. I've never seen one of those in Costa Rica. Okay, I've never seen anyone with humongous AC. I'm not saying there's not one. Okay, I've not seen it. Of all the houses I've been to, and I've been in some really nice gringo luxury houses, they all have these. Well, you're right. Doug said it. I couldn't think of the name of it, but they're called mini split units. Okay, and so they're usually all over. There's no such thing, like Adam Ritchie says here. Mini splits AC is what they use in Costa Rica. There's no such things as central AC. Okay, so if you really like AC, then you get these mini split ACs, and they're typically one in every room. Now, obviously, if you got an open concept, you can get one that's a little bit stronger, and then you can have one that goes in the living room and it's big enough to cover the whole area. But hey, most places I've seen will typically just have these mini split AC units, and then they have ceiling fans. Matter of fact, I just gave away, I think, 3 or 4 ceiling fans because, as as I was traveling all over Costa Rica, I'd get in houses and, hardly anybody has ceiling fans. So I'd go buy ceiling fans and put them up. And now that I'm here, I don't need them. It's nice and cool. So I gave my best friend all my, and they were great, expensive ceiling fans. But anyway, I gave him my ceiling fans. So if you just have some ceiling fans and a few split AC units, you'll probably be fine. And of course, really the best way is to build your house right. If you build your house right and you're thinking about the location where you build it so that it vents well, then you won't have any problems. Like where I'm living at, build your house so that, like, I built this one kind of quick. I'm getting ready to build another one, and when I get ready to build the other one, it's going to be up off the ground, but I'm going to build it so there's vents in the floor, and then there's going to be vents at the top. So what's going to happen is as the heat rises, the heat goes out, and it draws the cool air in. So it draws the cool air in, and all of the heat goes out. And that's a central air conditioning system that's free just by building it right. See, Evelina says, I said it's nice and cool. 5 p.m. in Costa Rica. Is that because you live in a windy area? I don't live in a windy area, except where I do live at. We do have kind of a windy season where every once in a while you get winds in here. But no, I'm not in a windy area. It's just that the altitude that I'm at over 4,500 feet. So because of the altitude, the climate is just amazing. In my opinion, this is the best climate ever. Now, I actually did a job for a subscriber, and he built his house almost the exact same height, right at 4,500. But it wasn't nearly as nice as his place as it is at my place. And the only thing, and he was on a hill. And I've been thinking about that. And I think the reason that is because I'm so close to the jungle. I'm in the jungle. And so I think it's just naturally cooler here with the jungle. And where his house was, there wasn't any jungle there. It was just coffee fields. And so it was warmer there. Okay. That's just my thought. I don't know the real reason. But he was at the same altitude as I was, but he was warmer than where I'm at. But it wasn't that much warmer, but it was warmer. Hey, I love what Doug said. Doug says that, hey, he says, we live a few miles from the beach on the Nicoya Peninsula, and we never use AC during high season. What I think what he's saying is during the winter season or during the rainy season, okay? No, he said high season. High season is typically the dry season. High season is normally November, December, and January. And he says it helps to climatize yourself. Yes, absolutely. So Doug, clarify for me. Are you saying that during November, December, January, when it starts summertime, you don't even use your AC, but it really hasn't gotten super hot yet? Clarify that for me. Evelina says she was in Spain. They've got brick houses over there with no AC, and it's like they're baking themselves inside their houses. Hey, people get used to where they're living at. Up here, I typically right now it's actually the winter season. It's getting a little bit warmer, and that's because of all the cloud cover. In the summertime, right now, I would have a jacket on. It's so cool. But in the wintertime, with all the cloud cover and it holds the heat in, well, I don't even have to have a jacket today, But as soon as it gets dark, I'll be putting my jacket on. Now, Eduardo says that over in Tebas, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. He says it's nice. He says it's not too hot. It ain't too cold. A little bit colder in some areas, okay? Randy says he likes the warmer temperatures. You like the warmer temperatures, man. You just get close to the coast, and it's really going to get cold. I mean, hot. R&B says that I thought Monte Verde was almost too cool. And what would be an area that's a little warmer, but not like beach temperature. Now, you know, if you go to the, well, I hate this because this is almost the answer for everything, is if you go to San Isidro del General, that's in the Perez Zeledon area, it's almost that in-between place. So it's not nearly as cool as where I'm at, okay? But it's not at the beach, so it's not nearly as hot. So it's a great in-between location. And what's really great about the San Isidro area is that right there in San Isidro, it's kind of hot, but it's kind of like a valley. So if you don't want to live in San Isidro, nobody wants to live in this city, but you can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes up a hill, and you can almost pick the temperature you want. All you got to do is go in that area, rent for a little bit and say, yep, I like this area. I like the view. I like the altitude, I like the temperature. So you can really gauge the temperature by driving around little places in San Isidro del General. Rebecca is in town again. She's found a great church, and great shout out. I wished I knew their name, but she's been going to this church every Sunday. And matter of fact, I've been wanting to go visit that church, but I've been busy out here on the homestead. Truth be known, Rebecca is probably trolling me right now. She likes to see what I'm doing and give me feedback, but she normally don't say nothing. So, hey, y'all give her a thumbs up right now. Y'all give her a shout out, because I bet she's watching. Hey, good question, Evelina. Evelina says, does the government tell people not to go outside from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. like they do in Spain because of UV radiation? In Costa Rica, you can go do whatever you want to do, okay? They don't ever tell you. You know, I've had some employees that used to work for me full-time over in the Philippines, okay? And in the Philippines, a lot of areas have curfew. And it's like after like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, they tell you can't go out until like 5 o'clock in the morning. That sucks, okay? So anyway, hey, welcome, Laura. Hey, Laura, if you get a chance, I sent you a couple of emails. I don't know if you got them or not, but hey, been doing a little bit of research for you based on the information you gave me on the house you're wanting to build. So, hey, hit me up, Laura. I got some input I'd like to give you that I think would be extremely helpful for you, okay? So, hey, send me an email and let's schedule a phone consultation, a gratis phone consultation, complimentary, totally on me, so that I can give you a little update if you want that information, okay? Yeah, Doug says, she be trolling. That's right. And Laura says, really enjoy the conversation. Hi, Rebecca. Hey, thank you, Eduardo. I greatly appreciate it. Eduardo gave me a shout out and says, Alan, I trust you. You're a good amigo. Just letting all these people here know. Hey, check out Adam. Adam is actually giving himself a shout out. He's like, hey, I'm here and I don't mind telling everybody that I got a 2-bedroom apartment for rent in La Sabana, available for rent next month. Safe and comfortable. So, hey, if you rent from Adam, you got to send me $100 for the referral fee. You got that? So, if you're interested in a place to rent, check Adam out. Hey, Laura has a question. She says, Alan, have you ever seen anyone vent at the soffits on the roof ridge for airflow? You're talking about. And hey, make sure you hit me up. You know, I've yet to see a single house with any vents on the soffit. Matter of fact, a lot of houses don't even have a soffit, okay? I don't think Ticos know what a soffit is. They actually have them. You know, a lot of the basic Tico houses have a soffit, but they normally don't have vents in the soffit. And here's why. Most Tico houses, I would say Okay, keep in mind, outside of San Jose in the metropolitan area, most Tico houses are not sealed. In the United States, when we build a house, that baby is so sealed, no air passes. If you pass gas, you'll run your wife out because it's so sealed. Maybe that was TMI. Anybody know that? Anyway, houses in the United States are so sealed that, it can either get too hot or too cold. In Costa Rica, the majority of the houses, they're not sealed. And so there's no need to have vents in the soffit because a lot of houses don't even have a ceiling. Okay. So now you hardly ever see any vents in the soffits. So I hope that answered your question there, Laura. Now, Evelyn says, so there's no UV warnings at all in Costa Rica, folks, okay? Is that because they don't care or special atmospheric conditions? Well, in actuality, in Costa Rica, if you got UV issues, you will burn like that. In Costa Rica, you'll burn fast, and that's just simply because we are so close to the equator. The sun is so much closer to everybody in Costa Rica. I mean, you will see if they do a bad paint job on a car, that paint will start peeling like that. So yes, it's not that they don't care. I guess they just figured if you're too stupid to wear any kind of sun protection and you fry up and look like a crawfish, that's your own fault. So I don't think it's not because they don't care. But in Costa Rica, that's kind of the mentality. In Costa Rica, if you're walking down the sidewalk and there's a missing grate because someone stole it to sell it for scrap iron and you fall in it, well, you're too stupid. You ain't suing the government. You're stupid for not being observant. You need to watch where you're walking. If you're in Costa Rica, in the United States, we're used to having guardrails whenever you going across a ditch. You go across mountains, and if you get off the road, you flying down the cliff. No, Costa Rica doesn't have a lot of guardrails. They just figured if you're too stupid to keep your car, if you can't keep your car on the road, well, then you're going to fly off the mountain. So there's a lot of things that we're used to in the United States because we have safety out the yin yang, man. I mean, in the United States, you can drive with your eyes closed, okay? Not in Costa Rica. You got to be careful. All right, folks, you got to rent Adam's apartment. He says that's a fair deal. So I need $100. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes or maybe another case of cerveza. Anyway, if you want something to rent, you can do it. Thank you very much, Evelina. She says, yes, I agree. That's TMI, but it's accurate. You're right. Hey, life is too short. I just like to have fun. It's true. See, Doug says, true, these houses are not sealed to the roof. And so there's a lot of airflow, as well as if you have, AC unit in there, you get a lot of loss from your AC unit, which then drives electricity expense up. Okay. Now, can you seal your house? Yes, you can. Okay. So Evelina says, do lots of Ticos end up sealing their homes with expanding foam at least? No. Ticos just don't care, okay? And most Ticos are not going to have air conditioning. And you know what? They don't care about the spiders and the bugs and the roaches. It's just life. If you live in Costa Rica, you're in the middle of the jungle and you're going to have bugs, okay? And, that's one of the things that's kind of hard to get used to. In the United States, our houses are so sealed, man, sugar ants don't get in the house. In Costa Rica, you put a piece of sugar there. People say dogs have good noses. No, ants, they got a good nose. You leave a grain of sugar on your counter, man, you'll have 20 ants fighting over it, okay? So, I mean, you get bugs in the house. So when you live in Costa Rica, you are constantly wiping down your counters constantly. You don't leave dirty dishes in the sink. Otherwise, the ants will come in and start cleaning up for you. Your houses are not sealed. So Laura says, I heard that they do stock rock wool to insulate with. and she's planning on ordering some of that. Doesn't burn, non-toxic, and water resistant. And there's a lot of stuff that you can like that, which is nifty to have. But those would be in your higher end houses. In your higher end houses, you'll see that kind of stuff. But it's not typical, which means it makes it a little bit more challenging when it comes to building the kind of house you want. Okay. For me, I would love to have the kind of house you're talking about. Okay. However, it's the challenge to get that kind of stuff. All right. Doggone it. We are already at an hour. Folks, hey, today we're talking about mind, body, and soul, and that went quick. And hey, but look, Costa Rica is not for everyone. There are some serious challenges, but I can tell you one thing's for sure. Once you learn how to CYA, control your environment, CYE. Did I say CYA? CYE. Maybe I had too much. CYE, control your environment, then you really will be able to enjoy your slice of paradise, okay? So while it's challenging when you first get here, especially when it comes time to building, once you get through that process, man, all of a sudden it really, personal true story in my life. I've been here for a little over 11 years. The first 8 years of my life, I almost hated Costa Rica. And the only reason I stayed is because I knew that eventually I was going to be here. And once I'm here, I could control my environment and I would be able to enjoy life. Okay. When you're renting, when you don't have your own place, it can be challenging. Now, look, the last 3 years, it was still challenging. I was able to, because I was building. I was going back and forth. I was buying stuff. But I tell you what, the last 3 years was amazing and lots and lots of fun building my own place. And of course, I built something that was not typical at all. So it did take me longer. And of course, I was by myself. So Doug agrees. CYA. Let's see. CYA, control your attitude. That might be the next thing. If you have CYA along with your CYE, control your attitude, control your environment, you'll love Costa Rica. Hey, Randy says, this has been great. Folks, it is time for me to shut it down. And look, until next time. I don't know when next time is going to be. Because like I said, I'm going to be traveling for the next 5 to 6 weeks. And I'm going to be having a great time. I hadn't taken a vacation in a very long time. Matter of fact, it's probably been 11 years since I've taken a vacation. And that's simply because, guess what? I live on vacation in Costa Rica. But I'm going to be doing something different. I'm actually going to be going out of the country. Go to the United States, and then I'm going to be going somewhere else. Not telling you. So I'll let you start wondering and guessing. Where is Alan going? So I'm going to be having a whole lot of fun. But hey, Laura, I hope you hit me up real soon. And so I'm actually heading to San Jose tomorrow. And I'm going to be getting on a plane. But anyway, so Laura, when you do get a hold of me, even though I'm traveling, I'll make time to be able to still have a phone consultation with you, talk to you, so that hopefully I can help you out, okay? All right, folks. Oh, no. Evelina's guessing. Bet he's going to the Philippines. What makes you think that, Evelina? I'm not telling you yes or no. All right. Have a wonderful trip. Save all those stories for us. You bet, Laura. Hey, Doug says enjoy the trip. Hey, folks, looking forward to it. Eduardo says Southern food. Yeah, I hope to get me some Southern food. All right, folks. Y'all have a great one. As much as I hate Pura Vida, I'll see you next time.